So normally there's a thing called clickbait. We need to do reverse clickbait because it appears a lot of people think we're drafting a live big dog draft, which I don't think could be further from the truth right now.
Yeah, I don't think we could even pull that off. I figured that's what would happen, so I just looked at the DraftKings 555.
Yeah.
And you couldn't even do that one. It's only 3 out of 12 right now.
3 out of 12?
Mhm.
Yeah. So yes, apologies for the confusion. I saw BRIC. We got into a slow draft, but there will be no fast big dog draft. I do plan to do maybe 1 or 2 on the stream. It just takes a lot of promotion and timing to get it right. They're not conducive to scheduling streams around.
Do those start to fill up faster towards the season?
I think so. And just most of the people I've talked to that want to fire at the big dog have all said they want to wait till it's closer to the season, which makes sense. I mean, we're only 1 week into preseason. There's still going to be lots of injuries and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Have you done any more the DraftKings ones?
Every time I'm like, okay, I got an hour to burn. I click on it. It's like 4:12. It's like, well, fuck that.
Yeah, I know. It's here's the problem, guys. Even if we tried to fill it, like I can't run over time. It's a 21 draft, and we're on ship chasing tonight. We're having Sean Siegel on, so we can't miss that. So yes, I'm sorry. Maybe Brian and I will. We could maybe in a week or two promote around trying to fill a big dog or a DraftKings 555.
Yeah, I'm always down.
But yes, and you're not at the lake anymore. You've too much lake for you.
Too much lake for me. You gotta come back every once in a while. Let the cleaning lady in.
Where do you have better internet at the lake or here?
That's the same kind. It's both AT&T. It's just how close you are to the router.
Yeah.
Really. I'm pretty far from the router in both places, so I bought all the extenders and stuff though, and it seems to all be working.
Okay. My experience with extenders is awful. I've tried different extenders and they always seem to suck.
Yeah, I had to buy a couple different ones before one worked.
Yeah. Yep. I want to do the I hate, like, now I just don't have like time to troubleshoot shit. And so I want to do like the Levitan just put out the tweet where he's like, can I pay someone to just come and set up my entire home office, soundboards, my camera, internet, just someone come do it for me.
Yeah. I wonder if they have that, like a party planner for weddings or whatever.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And I always think about, I was literally thinking about it in the shower earlier. Cause my whatever shower head is just, it's like choking all the water. I don't have good water pressure right now. And I'm like, I don't have time to do this and figure out can I just have a handyman come and pick out a new shower head and do it for me? And I know this is lame. You know, I should be more of a man's man, should be able to get my hands dirty, but I just don't have it in me.
Yeah. You're talking to the same type of guy. I can't do that shit either.
It's honestly embarrassing just because my dad is so handy and resourceful, and like having to call him up and ask him the dumbest questions is very emasculating.
Yeah, I'm not emasculated by it. I have no shame at all over it. So I have the same type of relationship with my dad. I think that's partly why I don't do it, because he would always fix the shit. So it's like I never really learned how. Except my brothers are fairly handy, so it's mainly on me.
Even the things I did learn to do, I now just like, I know how to change a flat. You know, I can change my own oil. It doesn't mean I do it. You know, it's just
change my flat if I have to.
Yeah.
Oil, I'm not doing that.
Yeah. No, Rick. Yeah, I figured that one out all on my own. Oh my goodness. So what's going on in the in your corner of the woods? Still grinding some DFS?
Oh yeah, baseball, PGA, MMA.
Yeah. Anything good?
Yeah, I won on PGA over the weekend. I won the 3,000 by N1.
Nice. What was up top on that one?
100,000.
There you go.
And then I got my PGA ownership winning percentage and added cut percentage this week, which is just like the penny odds cut percentage. I'm not building it out with like vig adjusted.
Why don't you? When was the last time you posted a non-ironic screenshot from your DFS winnings?
Never.
You should at least just post a screenshot and say, subscribe to Lulz. It's completely free, and we're not even trying to take any of your money. I'm a good DFS player.
I don't know. It's kind of douchey. I was thinking if I did it, I could, because remember we were talking about like you got to buy a jersey of someone who wins you a tournament.
Yeah.
Post a screenshot. I'm never gonna wear the fucking jersey, right? So it's just like giving this company, the jersey company, free money. Yeah. So I was like, I'll post the screenshot and go, someone who follows us or whatever, follows the show, pick one of the players from the lineup, and I'll send you a jersey.
Yeah, that's cool. Who was in your golf lineup that you would get? I guess
you can't do golf jerseys, can you?
Yeah.
I don't know if you watched. Did you watch it all?
No, I didn't.
It was a 6-man playoff. The last
hole. What was the event?
Wyndham.
Okay.
And I had Grace, Henley, and who was the other? Siwoo Kim. And Henley was winning the entire tournament to the 18th hole. He missed like a 4-foot putt, and he didn't make playoffs. And I'm like, well, I'm fucked. But and then so two of my guys went in the 6-man playoff, and then Kisner won it, and I didn't have him, and I'm like, okay, I'm screwed. I didn't even look. I'm like, that must have knocked me out, but it didn't. I still held on. So
very nice. Congrats, dude. Knowing you probably threw a big party, went out, got absolutely hammered. How else did you celebrate?
Yeah, totally. All that stuff. No, I didn't do anything.
Look at that. It's just another day at the office for old Brick shipping a tournament.
You have to win one every 3 weeks just to break even with the volume I play. So
can you imagine the victory lap tour I would go on if I won $1,000 or $100,000, Brian? It would just be absolutely insufferable and endless.
You would
I did that with $10,000. Imagine if it was $100,000.
I think I tweeted out 2 years ago or something who would have the biggest celebration over a large GP?
Oh, via Davis.
You or Davis, yeah.
So this is interesting. I actually think what would happen is I would probably make more hay of it in the short term. I just have a nonstop week. Davis would probably bring it up continually for a longer period of time.
Am I breaking up? Because you kind of are. Even though I heard all that, your free screen is freezing for me, and it says I got 5 bars. But
no, yeah, it's been good for me.
I could totally see that. Yeah, you would go insane for, I don't know, let's say a month with the bet. Yeah, I would say who would. I can see David shoving it in people's faces a little bit too, because people have given him shit over the years for his touting shit, right? So I could see him just posting that, and anyone who gives him fucking shit.
Well, it is, because also for me, Davis, he would at least be, trying to drum up more subs for Sports Grid and stuff in Daily Roto. I don't really have, I don't have anything I'm selling projections tool wise, directly related to my DFS play, other than Run the Sims. So maybe what I do is I bank with Run the Sims tools. You see how the sausage gets made, and then you buy Run the Sims. I guess that's what I would be selling. That
makes sense.
Or I could, It would be, I'm trying to think of what would be a good bit if you maybe like spinning up like a fake tout site. Like it's literally the day after you win, you make a new tout site that you try to get subscribers to. Which isn't even that far from what people have done previously.
Yeah, I don't want to do it. I told Alex because he doesn't really post screenshots either. I don't know if he ever has, or maybe he has a couple times, but like he never posts screenshots either. And I was like, well, just have your Osmo.com Twitter post.
Yeah.
So something like that would be fine, I think.
He's posted the like balance and crowns flex before.
Yeah. Yeah, he's posted some ROI charts and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it with Big T. It's almost a necessary evil for tout sites. Like to do marketing, it would be like trying to do marketing with one hand tied behind your back relative to what all the other sites are doing.
Yeah, it probably is true, because we talked about where like people won't even see your bit even though you've used it 100 times.
Yeah.
And like, there's just not everyone sees everything. And it's like, well, then how is everyone going to know your site's good if you don't at least pump it?
It is one of the funniest things, because I feel it a lot. I'm like, I don't want to like keep reposting things a ton or resharing, but it would be fascinating to know the actual percentage of your followers who see each tweet. It's still really, really small.
Probably. Yeah.
I mean, some obviously like people who are big fans of you or whatever, or completists, they either have notifications turned on or they have you on a private list where they make sure they don't miss stuff, but that still doesn't represent the majority. So that it's like, do you risk alienating or frustrating the people who hawk everything you do to get it in front of more people or whatever? I normally default to just not reposting that much. I already do so many like link out promotional tweets like to shows that I'm just like, I don't want to be like reposting those.
It's also like harder. Some people are harder to get likes from than others. So like someone might see it, you don't know. They like love all your shit, but they just rarely like stuff, they might not want to like it because they don't want it to show up on their specific timeline for the people who like them for something else. You know what I mean? Like, who knows?
Yeah. I used to, for a long time, even before I started doing content, I was way more of a lurker. I had my lists and stuff like way back when I first got into fantasy Twitter. And I remember occasionally I would write, I remember writing JJ Zacharyson, late round quarterback, a question on Twitter. And it was one of my only posts. This is probably back in like 2011 or something. Mm-hmm. And then once you start making content, you realize how much it's appreciated to just get some kind of feedback whatsoever. Someone enjoyed this. Someone has a thought about this, just to know that you're not shouting into the void. So now I try to be better about it, of letting people know when I really like their stuff, because we all need those wind in our sails.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. And there's a lot of people who just don't want to bother you and stuff like that. It's totally fair.
Yeah, it is a fine line too, because that's another thing that'll happen with DMs sometimes, is because, the DMs, I have my DMs open, you can send it, but then it goes to, like the holding area, whether you choose to like actually accept it. But what will happen is sometimes someone will ask me just like an innocuous question that I don't mind answering real quickly, but then they'll just keep messaging you. Right. Whereas if you don't open the floodgates initially, it's not in your main feed and it's not annoying. So if it's just spammy, I don't answer it. But if it's just a question, I don't mind answering. But then it's like you give them an inch and they take a mile. And then what do? Then they're just in your inbox forever.
We've talked about strategy on this, though, where you just slowly you respond much slower. It's like, okay.
Yes. Well, that's what happens I remember that when I was at my my day job and stuff like that. The quicker you respond to people, the more they expect it from you. So even if I was able to respond right away, I try to leave like a little buffer, because you don't want to be on a Saturday afternoon knowing your boss expects you to respond within 3 minutes.
Right. Yeah. No. Yeah. Or you just do half-ass work, so they don't expect you to they never can put you on the project.
Exactly. Willis, you are actually probably the most supportive person I've seen across all stuff in the Discord, on Twitter, YouTube comments. You are the king. you're not as active on Twitter, but you comment on so many YouTube videos, and it legitimately means a lot, Willis. It legitimately means a lot when you leave comments on there, even though I know you're watching no matter what. It's very nice of you to share that love, and we appreciate it.
Yeah, he's always in the Discord too.
Yes, Willis is he's everyone's hype man, and that's why he's the best.
We are printing money in the Lulz Discord.
Yeah, I need to get in there. There's so much money printing going on in these Discords. There's the club NFTs. I've seen it. I even so when we were in Vegas, Lou, who's in the chat right now, he said he was walking over to the sports book to place some bets. And I almost messaged him and was going to try to Venmo him money to get the bets down for me. I need to get in there and have some fun with you guys in that.
Oh yeah. It's a good time.
Yeah.
So what to develop a little system too. So.
And is part of this for you, Brian, also because it helps avoid getting limited because you are doing so many more like general spread bet stuff?
That's part of it for sure. Like on Barstool,
yeah,
like I get immediate bets, no problems. On PointsBet, since I started prop betting, whenever we started, like a year and a half ago or 2 years ago, when they first opened, they limit me on major sides and stuff, and I'm not a professional sports bettor. You know, I'm not even making models for that stuff. They just carry it over. They don't care.
Yeah.
So like, and it's random. So like today I bet some stuff, and so I'll bet $250 a unit.
Mm-hmm.
And I know on there I can't do 2 units. So like if they have the best line, I'll do that one and then the second closest one for 2 units. But like 250 you'll get in probably 25% of the time. And then the rest of the time it's between 100 or 50, even 50 they'll drop me to. On major sides, totals, tennis matches, everything.
Like stuff that's a legitimate just coin flip.
Yeah, stuff where I have no, like I don't know how they can assume I have an edge. They think I'm the sharpest guy on the planet. And I've only won on that site, like, I don't know, $3,000.
Yeah. But this is the site for the people, right? We are Barstool for the people.
That was PointsBet. That was PointsBet.
Oh, this is PointsBet. Okay.
Yeah, Barstool hasn't limited yet. So football season's gonna be interesting with Barstool.
Yeah.
Because they're gonna have shitty props. Barstool, so Bryce tweeted out, Third and Schlong, Barstool's lines are shit. I can't remember what it was. It's something like Barstool's lines are shit. And they are. There's a lot of vig on a lot of their sides. But they're also pretty slow to move the lines. And they're really slow to move, from what I know, is baseball team totals.
Okay.
So anyone looking to line shop totals, team totals, I usually get like, so I only have 4 sites because BetRivers limited me to pennies, so I can't play there at all. So there's only 5 sites in Illinois, besides William Hill. But William Hill, you still have to do the COVID rules where you have to like, go in, or not the pre-COVID rules where you have to go in to the casino, and it's like 4 hours away or something like that to register. It's fun. It's so stupid. And I'm not even sure if you can even do online after that, but yeah. But anyways, long story short, Barstool, you can I probably get like 30% of my bets down on there because their lines are so slow to move. And I think their Kambi provides their lines. So Kambi sucks, but they'll limit you quick.
When those sites have a similar provider like Kambi, is there any variation in how slow the lines are moved, or does it happen instantaneous with anyone with that provider?
I wish I knew that off the top of my head, because that's why I was going to open BetRivers and check it next to Barstool, because DraftKings doesn't use Kambi anymore in Illinois. And I think they're rolling out their new odds service like on a state-by-state basis. So if you thought before, like, why even check their odds because it's all the same, I would look at that now. And
do you know why? Oh, go ahead.
I think in Connecticut too, that means then you're going to have at least a couple sports books to pick from now, because it's not all Kambi.
Do you know why DraftKings is shifting?
I I don't know. I mean, I don't know why they wouldn't run their own book. I mean, that's what I would do.
Yeah, that's what Hassan says. They're rolling out a native platform.
Yeah, Illinois got it. So check your state. Ask your rep or whatever when it's going to come in your state.
Yeah.
You got a line shop. You got a line shop.
Yep. Sam, are we drinking tonight? I am not drinking. I had 4.5 days straight of drinking, and now I'm detoxing. What about you, Brian?
Nah, I'm not going to drink. I might drink this weekend, Friday or Saturday, but
it's man, I'm getting old. The 4 days in Vegas and back when I was 23, you could just bounce back right away. Now I feel like I need 3 days to recover.
4 days in Vegas would be the first day would be slow, and the 2 days, and the fourth day would be slow with like a nice relaxing get out of there. But if you drink 4 full days, I couldn't do Vegas for 4 full days. And I have that Vegas trip coming up too. I mean,
when is what is this one?
Whenever I want, I guess. The $5,000 I won on Yahoo, the free Vegas $5,000 trip.
When is there an expiration on it?
Yeah, a year.
Okay. You should come out when we're going to be out there right before the season starts with doing the high stakes fantasy drafts.
Oh yeah?
Yes, September. We're going flying Wednesday the 8th, and then fly out Saturday morning the 11th.
So that's the opening weekend.
Yeah. It's true, Ricky. The thing is like I do legitimately like all these. I used to be the young guy when I did shows back in the day when I did improv. I was the young guy, and now I'm the oldest guy on Club Top Shot. I mean, I am starting to feel old relative to everyone else.
You have one brother?
One brother who's 2.5 years younger.
Younger. Yeah. I have an older brother, and a younger brother. But when you hang out there, like when you have an older brother, a lot of times you're the younger guy.
Yeah.
And so you're the younger guy for a long time, and then it's like, oh fuck, I'm the older guy in like almost every group now.
Yep. Robert wants to play PLO with you in Vegas. You play any PLO?
I do, but I mean, I haven't seriously. Well, okay, in 2011, after Black Friday, I switched over to, oh my god, now I'm going to forget the name of it. Black Chip Poker was on the Merge Network, right?
Okay.
All the poker players will remember this. And however long that lasted, then they canceled Rakeback because everyone and their mother switched over there. And I think a lot of people ended up getting scammed by them. I don't know. And Cake, the Cake Network blew up a little bit. Anyways, however long that lasted, which wasn't long, that's the last time I played poker. So if you play PLO regularly, you would beat the shit out of me. But maybe I could stake my buddy like he needs staking. Maybe I could bet on my buddy RBX88. He still plays PLO.
Yeah, that's who you should bring out. You should bring RBX88 out to Vegas. You should seriously come out during that if you're having to get one out a trip before it expires, anyways.
Maybe. Yeah, I'll see if I'm open that week. I mean, the opening weekend is like tough though, because I really got to get all my shit in line. And if there's anything breaks, you know what I mean? I don't want to be in a Vegas hotel.
Yes.
That's what I understand. Like DraftKings would always have like these, they would invite, like I went to Boston one year, they would invite players.
Yeah.
And it's like, don't you want me to play them the highest volume? Like you're losing out on money by inviting me to this because I can't play everything. And I did. And then we partied till I brought my buddy and my brother. We must stay up till 6 in the fucking morning. And then
let's see. Sam, yes, we're in the same big dog slow draft. Brick took Ezekiel Elliott, and I took Devontae Adams right after him. Ricky, who do you think is your youngest and oldest consistent viewer by age? That's a good question.
Is that in the demographics in the back end?
So I can see like the group cohorts, and like it's the two biggest cohorts are pretty obvious. It's like 21 to 34 and then 35 to 50, like males.
Mine too. And males is like 99.9%.
Yes. So, but I feel like consistent is definitely the interesting thing. I don't know. I would guess there's some 22. I would guess like a 22 or 23-year-old most consistent.
I know the oldest is either 70 or 74.
Is this your mom?
That's my mom and dad.
Oh my goodness. Side bet the slow draft finish. Yeah, I'll talk with Brian. We'll make sure it's nice and juicy. I actually would like to slow draft or side bet this one. Are you doing any fast drafts today? No, I am easing back into it. I'm not kidding when I say Vegas wrecked me. You can tell how sluggish I am. But I do plan probably starting Monday. I do the best ball breakfast at 10 a.m. that draft. I'm thinking of like really ramping it up, like doing a draft every single day when I can until the start of the season. So if you're looking to get your fast draft fix, we're gonna be rolling hard.
You do sound a little stuffed up.
I am. I know. I am. Ricky, you're 22. For some reason, I thought I don't know. I probably would have guessed you were like 29 or 30. So this was a leading question, Ricky. You wanted to, you're probably the youngest.
You just wanted to say I'm 22, the best age.
18? Where are you guys coming from, Jack?
Is there anyone younger than that or older?
Can anyone beat 18? I'm kind of nervous. Jack, I need you to comment in here. How did you find Lulz? And I just want to know about you. All right, now we're getting everyone's age. This is fun. Robert 44 and Lulz is a mandatory listen. Thank you, Robert. I'm sorry for the confusion and the clickbait, guys. First of all, there's two levels of confusion because I was just noticed BRIC in my slow draft. When I made the title, I made in the description, I said slow draft, but I realized that people maybe thought that we were going to battle head to head in a big dog draft. I'm very sorry to mislead people. That wasn't my intention.
Shawn Michaels is 7 weeks old and watching it.
Berto's 22. Wait, Ryan's 19. Maybe I was way underestimating the youth.
Well, no, this is like selection bias because the old guys aren't like so happy to say they're fucking 50 and shit.
No, I mean, we're getting a nice thing here. We got some 18s, some 22s. I'm 35 and I got tricked by this clickbait. I will say, guys, I have gotten much better at clickbait. I even doing the Fantasy Life newsletter, because I'm doing that daily now. And so I'm writing at least one clickbait headline a day. Every time I do the YouTube titles, generally adjusting after. My clickbait muscle must be just so reflexive now that I just accidentally do it. Because I didn't even think that was that clickbait of a title when I did it.
I thought it was just the funny pictures is why you did it. So.
I did partly want to just use because last week, of course, we stumbled upon Brian's new profile picture, which you did make the shift to. How's that been treating you?
It's been great. I'm so
happy. I mean, how many ladies are sliding into your DMs since you made that switch?
The exact same amount. The exact same.
Yeah, I basically and then I knew I had the one of me that Dean saw. That's a real painting of me that image came from. I feel like I have to get that. Yes. So it was so funny because back when Top Shot was really pumping in probably, I don't know, late February, he did this series of paintings that he turned into NFTs. And it was like the legends of Top Shot. And it was just hilarious because it was Roham, it was Katie, who works at Dapper Labs, Usman, who worked at Dapper Labs, LG, who has the biggest Top Shot podcast, and then me. I think just because I had made that one viral video, Top Shot, bro. So for a very specific moment in time, someone considered me on the Mount Rushmore of Top Shot, which is hilarious. But he made a legit painting of me dunking the basketball and then made NFTs of it. But I'd like to get the physical painting.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. You don't think you're on the Top Shot Mount Rushmore?
No.
Why not?
Because I don't talk about Top Shot enough. I mean, though I have a show called Club Top Shot, we barely talk about Top Shot.
Abraham Lincoln's not talking about much either, is he?
Oh, that's I knew we were going to get one historical reference like that.
So if you're 18, you can't play anything. You can't play Best Ball or DraftKings or Sports Bet, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't think so legally. Yeah, tell us how you guys are playing here.
I guess you could play home leagues and then watch Ship Chasing and Swellcast maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Can you play those other ones, those FFPC ones and shit?
I guess I don't know what their KYC process is on that stuff.
I guess you could buy Top Shots at any age.
Ricky says you can play
Really?
fantasy at 18, sports betting no. Yeah, shit. So they're saying at 18 you can do best ball and stuff.
Well, if you can fight in war, you should be able to fight in
I was just about to do a joke like that. Not allowed to drink, but you could punt off every cent you have with shitty best ball teams.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But don't get yourself a summer shandy because that's just bad news.
Berto, yes, that's a entirely real picture. I actually went out there and I had to dunk the ball 1,000 times just so he could continually paint that shot, as a still life image. This actually doesn't even seem that far off from something we would randomly start talking about on LOLs.
What's that? Which one?
Our child labor law is immoral. At 18, I can play DFS and best ball legally. Have been playing DFS though since 15. Yahoo KYC sucks. Okay, so there's some variation across the different sites on what you can get away with. We have another 14-year-old weighing in. You can sports bet at 5 on offshores. Good evening, Davis. Davis is not a regular in the Lulz chat.
No.
What did we? He probably thought we were in the big dog draft, right? Davis?
He wants us on his podcast, and then after that, he doesn't want to talk to us at all. That's plenty.
What is the feedback been on your recent TakeCast episode?
I actually got more feedback on our first one.
Really?
Yeah. But I don't know. I think it was pretty good. Not a whole ton of people talked about
it. What happens? I think. When your first appearance, when was that? Like 6 months ago or something?
I did hold stuff back, Matic.
Oh, I guarantee, Davis. He definitely did.
Definitely did.
You guys, you should charge for BRIC unfiltered. That would have to be on a decentralized platform.
I can't counter every single commie thing Maddox says, or else the podcast will be completely derailed and we won't get anything accomplished.
I would say the most arguing I've heard you do on a podcast was probably your one with Blender.
Yeah, that's true. That one got a little out of hand.
Yeah.
I think it's his the way he talks is just confrontational to just the way I perceive it. And so then I get like a little confrontational back or something like that. Yeah. Because he's like, well, that doesn't make any sense. And it's like, no, it does fucking make sense. If you just think about it for a second.
Like, I wish I could just have you do that Blender impression forever. It doesn't make any sense. I'm still scarred from the night that I took over his YouTube channel. The people were so mad. They were so mad. It was incredible. That week 17 night. And I had put a bunch of cashews in my mouth to help me get the more kind of natural like thing like this. And I was spitting out.
I saw that, yeah.
As I talked. Davis, I just tried for a second. I don't have the energy. I feel exhausted just thinking about it. Oh, they did not get the bit, which is what's really funny about that to me was like, I get like, I don't know, say Mike Clay or John Paulson had a Saturday night stream and just giving very sensible information. I can understand why people would be massively triggered. But right. Blender just yells at people and tells them to do whatever the hell they want anyways. So right. How is it that much different?
Yeah. I'd be surprised if there's that crossover. Like who wants to, who are the guys you just said?
Like John Paul, I'm talking like just regular fantasy analysts.
Yeah, I don't know their names because I don't give a fuck. Like the ESPN whatever people.
Yeah.
It's like, unless the president company excluded anyone you like. Like, I don't give a flying fuck. Like, how could you want to, like, I don't understand how those worlds cross over. It's like, I need to know what this fucking idiot from ESPN says and this, like, professional gambler who actually knows his shit.
The only thing I could think of to what was going on is almost like it was holding a mirror up to, like, how ridiculous it is for them to ask questions in Blender to just yell at them. That in this moment they realize like, oh my God, we are just really getting yelled at and asking this guy questions that he doesn't care about. And they're like, I don't know, maybe that made them resent themselves. That's my take.
Brian released an outline for creating horse race sims for dummies.
Wow. Horse? Do they mean like Zed horse or like physical horse race?
There is a bunch of them out there. I just call them horse race sims, but they're just like the real standard DFS sim of by position. You sim it out with some sort of distribution, and then whoever wins, you give them a 1, right? And then if they don't win, they get a 0, and then you count it up after however many times you feel you're comfortable with, like 1,000. So if you're running back, let's just say there's a tight end's easier. There's only one tight end position, and then if Kelsey wins 300 out of 1,000, he's 30% chance that he'll be the best one. That's all a horse race sim is. Now that's not going to guarantee you winning anything. It doesn't take into account a lot of other variables. But like, I'm trying to think. I think Josh Engelman has some videos. They might be on the paywall at Osmo or something. Someone you DM him or tweet at him. So I'm sure there's somebody else too.
Yeah. And remind me how that compares to a Monte Carlo sim.
It is a Monte Carlo sim.
Okay, it is. Okay.
Yeah. So you're gonna, I mean, you're just gonna roll with a normal distribution, let's say, on the player's fantasy points, and then you just count every iteration. So he gets 3 points, 30 points, 15 points, 17 points, 14 points, blah, 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 1,000 times, and then compare it to all the other guys 1,000 times.
Gotcha. Sam, just looking to get started in the sim world. Do you have any other thoughts and resources for him?
There's a book like 1,000 simulations in Excel. Don't buy it. I know. I'm thinking because I thought that looked good and I bought it. It's not going to help you in DFS very much. Figuring out how to do correlations is really tough in Excel. Good luck with that.
This is a great advice.
Honest, like, I'm trying to like decide whether it's just like don't bother, or I'd have to know who you are. Like, if you're crazy, if you have a little gambling CTE, a little obsessive compulsive issues, then maybe you want to do it. If you don't, it's probably a waste of time to go down that road.
Yeah. So what do you recommend then to someone who maybe doesn't have the CTE, isn't that sick, but still wants to try to play DFS at a higher level?
Here's my 2 best pieces of advice. I've been thinking about this. The 2 best pieces of advice. One is be dynamic, and the other one is search for easy EV. So what does that mean? Like, so be dynamic. An example I would use is like in baseball with the Rockies at home. You don't play baseball, but it's the easiest example. So you know very well that the ball flies out of Coors Field.
Yes.
So back in the day, they've kind of adjusted the salaries now, but back in the day, that would be like the chalk every time they played at home, right? Either them or whoever played against them. So your process, a dynamic process, would look like when the Rockies are at home. This is an analogy, like the best obvious chalk or something. Sometimes you're over and sometimes you're under. Right? So like you're not always over on X, Y, or Z. I know this is kind of vague.
No, I'm following.
But you see what I'm saying? Yeah. So like you want this morning slate, I had the chalk pitcher and I was slightly over. And in this night slate, I forgot, I still haven't seen the Dodgers lineup, but we got time. I was under on pretty far on one of the chalk pitchers because everything's set up in a way where my stuff is dynamic like that. It takes a ton of things into account, but like you could figure out a way on your own where it's not just the same shit every time.
And it's what you're saying too is there aren't hard and fast rules. Like it's like you always fade the 40% owned backup running back on a DFS slate.
Right. Like it should look, yeah. So like Kamara, whatever. I don't know. He was chalk a lot last year. Whatever your process is, it shouldn't always be Kamara over or always be Kamara under. Like you'll see people online like 30% baseball player owned, always fade. It's like, no, I don't know. I don't think so. Sometimes your process should wind up over, and sometimes your process should wind up under. And it could be like 75% of the time you're under, but at least 25% of the time you better be over. Or 25% of the time you're over. So like if you're looking at your shit and charting your stuff and lineup rewind or looking over what you did the night before, and it's just the same thing every time, and when the Rockies are at home, you're going to be under because you're always under, like then you probably need to do something else.
Right.
So that
be dynamic.
That's dynamic. And the second one is look for easy EV. So hard EV is projections, ownership, shit like that. So you can make your projections better than me, better than Osmo. Like it's possible, right? It's going to take you a lot of fucking effort. You know what I mean? Like you're going to have to go Cardi level hours put in to beating the projection sources that people can pay for now. Ownership's getting there too. So ownership's a little easier than projections if you want to put the time and effort into it, but that's hard EV. You're going to be working hard for those couple points. Easy EV, I'm not going to fucking tell you. That's what you want to look for, is the things that people aren't things people aren't thinking of. And I know that's like, what the fuck does that mean? But I do have things in my head, but I just can't tell you. It's like, you should know what's hard EV. And the reason I'm bringing this all up is because he asked about the Sims, and like Sims are like, they're still probably easy EV, and you probably should put time and effort into it, probably. But this show is fucking sponsored by Run the Sims. You know what I mean? Like, would there have been a Run the Sims 3 years ago? No. So maybe there's another space to move on and find some easy EV. Maybe. Well, I'm not sure. I'm not sure on that.
Yeah. And I mean, we've talked about, again, some of the basic ones, right? Like playing on the smaller sites where there's less content and less, sharp play happening there, or playing on the smaller slates, the second half, stuff like that, when you're able to redo it. And I'm excited. One of the things I'm excited about Run the Sims too, with their Showdown Sims, is they're going to be able to have those where you can run those for the second half contests on Showdown, which I think is going to be a really big edge to be able to have access to tools that allow you to run that at halftime.
That's a perfect example. Yeah. Another one is NBA late swap. You have to be at your computer. That's easy EV. Not enough people are doing it. You could get better at it. No one's providing this content. You don't have to spend 150 hours putting together a projection system and learning stats and shit, and or a programming language. And then, like I said too, like, do you have obsessive competition up the ass and all those type of things? Like, if that's part of what you do, then don't listen to me. Go for it. Do it all.
And the other thing is, it's different for every right? Like if you're just truly hunting for EV in a macro sense, these hard EV things that are awful uses of your time.
Right.
It's completely awful. But I'm guessing anyone who's interested or asking about DFS Sims, there's an enjoyment equity to this thing where you're enjoying, like, okay, could I learn how to do Sims on, Nicaraguan weather patterns? Yes. It'd be far more interesting to do it on DFS. So if you're getting some entertainment equity, a little bit of a hobby thing, then I think it's a great training ground for doing that. But if you're literally just like, I want to beat DFS to make money, I don't know if it's the best use of your time.
Yeah. Best ball is getting your projections better than Evan Silva and everyone else. and fucking flying to the camps and charting plays, right? Worth it. I mean, that's an extreme example, but like that's hard EV. Like, what? Just use their shit.
Right. And not to mention where I think it's swung so far in that direction that people do use projections in ADP so much in best ball that being willing to approach it more from like a profile standpoint of like what are the type of players that generally can perform their ADP by significant amount. These cohorts of players like second year wide receivers are one of the most popular ones that flash showed efficiency in production in year one. They generally take the biggest leaps relative to ADP. So looking at the draft room through a different prism than everyone else who's wanting to put a median number to it. And that's what we're actually going to be talking to Sean about that stuff tonight. He's the best at that. He doesn't even really do his own, he does his rankings, but they're almost, they're kind of devoid of projections the way he does them because he's looking at specific types of players that are prone to breaking out.
Yeah. And here's another thing too with doing sims is like, you might find some other thing too. That's kind of the same thing way with projections, kind of like you never know what you might be able to use it for down the road. Like, oh my God, all this practice I put in here, I can use this skill now on some easy EV over here. Right. So doing all that hard work can pay off too. So that's another thing to think about. But just generally speaking, a lot of people, we've been doing this show for whatever, a year and a half. A lot of people are like, how do you do ownership percentages? How do I make my own projections and stuff like that? I get a lot of those type of questions. It's just like, and so like when I hear about sims now too, it's like, it's not there yet, but like, there's definitely something to keep in mind is like, unless you really want to put in the time and effort, like this is too hard. It's not worth it to get an extra point maybe, or you could fuck it up. What will probably happen is you'll fuck it up. I did. Like I fucked up a lot of models. And then you find it 2 weeks later, like, oh my God. And you're going to fuck it up and you're going to lose 5 points when you could have just paid for Evan Silva shit or Osmo shit or whatever, name your favorite out.
Well, I mean, I simplified my DFS process for football so much last year, had the best year. And I was literally looking at ceiling projections and ownership projections and then making very logical correlated lineups, like literally that. Yeah. And this year I'm excited to add the sims into my kind of screener. Again, still a very simplified screener, just to let me know at what rate are these players showing up and winning lineups, just to know if I'm like completely far off, because then it does get tempting sometimes to be like, all right, this guy has this ceiling projection. He's really low owned. Let's jam him or whatever. So just having that extra data point, but still on the whole, it's so simplified. And under learning like kind of game theory and just feel for specific size tournaments, I think would be infinitely more valuable than trying to make better projections than Osimo.
Yeah, for sure. And like making adjustments in the second half. We already mentioned that.
Yeah.
All those things okay. So like things that already happened. So like correlations. Okay. 5 years ago, that was easy EV. You just like, oh, well, how do these correlations work? Oh shit. I can put this, and this. And 5% of the field is doing this. That's easy. I don't have to do much. I just have to figure out a correlation matrix and plug it in somehow. And now it's like, I wouldn't call that hard EV. You have to do it. you have to correlate your lineups, and maybe there's a little bit of juice left in there. Mm-hmm. There probably is a little bit juice left in there, especially like in the NBA.
Yeah, and I've talked about this with Davis, and even I think I talked about it with Blender last year too. And it's hard, like it should be easier for me to do like a cash game lineup, like understand that, and then be able to still play GPP. But I found it just much easier to view things strictly through a GPP lens. Even some of those weeks I was playing cash, you got me on like, hey, play some Yahoo Cash. It's really good over there. My brain just had a hard time. Like I knew the generic good plays, I knew it, but there's still this level of specificity and like specific contest domain expertise that is hard to toggle back from really quickly, at least for me.
I was thinking about that too with you guys in the and like switching between underdog and another So, like, did you see Drafters got bought by Super Draft?
I did. Yeah.
They got 100,000 K GPP. I don't know if it's the first or the whole tournament, but like, do you guys have, like, you're like, oh no, underdogs ADP is 37 for this guy, and over here, like, he's I have to take him. You know what I mean? Because underdog has him this well, like.
And there are some obviously different scoring settings and roster settings, but I think sometimes the market, I think, adjusts decently well for that, those changes, and sometimes they don't. But yeah, I mean, I've just noticed it. I've never felt more prepared for all my drafts this year, just from doing so many underdog drafts. Like, I was in Vegas. I did this auction contract keeper league, and I've had the best draft than I ever had. Same amount of money, same kind of constraints. But I just felt like I understood, like, the tiers, and I was able to react quickly just simply from having mastered kind of one format, this 18-round half-point PPR underdog format. It's made the hoop seem bigger in all these other draft rooms.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't know how, like, I mean, I guess in the lens of easy EV and hard EV, like, playing a lot, I guess. Rinpack in my stream just said Blender's last stream, he had Nerdy Tenor on. He's like kind of like a newer DFS player that's doing pretty good. And he's like, he did Pro Poker Tools. Do you remember? Did you use those?
No.
Back in the day, I used to use Pro Poker Tools. Anyways, so he's like a coder and stuff, and he doesn't know anything about sports. Like nothing. And so he's
probably
doing
calls
like
them the Atlanta Falcons.
No, that's the proper way to address the football team from Atlanta.
So what? I didn't listen to that. What were some other interesting takeaways from his approach?
He probably gave away too much of his process, honestly.
See, this is you're the right combination of being a savvy media veteran where you know when to take the brakes off. But sometimes if it's your first interview, it's hard not to be excited to talk. So maybe Blender got him a little bit. Yeah.
But they did they came to this conclusion. I think you came to the same thing. Is like, how many people are actually going to act on this? And my thing is, I've said many times, is I don't want to create a monster who's going to be playing in whatever the 500s or whatever, you know what I mean? So, like, it's not the dudes who can't do it; it's the guys who can. You don't want to get them on the whistle goes woo track.
I want to get them on the whistles go woo track, so then we can have the next whistle goes woo on the show and have you interrogate them in a very entertaining way.
Well, maybe we should bring on Nerdy Tenor.
See, this probably, like you just said, is probably the thing. I don't even know how to do the stuff he was saying, but it did seem like he gave away a decent amount.
Right. Yeah, but I'm not worried about you, Paul. No offense, brother. I'm worried about the guy sitting there going like, oh, yeah. He's got gambling CTE from poker. And, he's been like the number one Call of Duty player for 10 years or something.
How many people, though, do you think who have, I don't know, the propensity, the skill set, the interest to be upper echelon level at DFS haven't gotten into it yet, but would be susceptible to getting into it if they heard a nugget or kernel like that? It seems very small.
Well, I mean, just because it's small in general. I mean, most people are dumb.
Right, but I'm saying, like, who is someone that's listening to Blender's podcast that, like, hasn't started seriously playing DFS?
That's fair enough. But, like, it doesn't matter, because if you're crazy and you get into this, you go, okay, I'm just going to watch 20 Lulz episodes now. Now I'm going to watch 20 Blender episodes. They're going to watch ours. Like, this doesn't help me at all. 20 Blender episodes, 20 fucking Osmo fucking streams, right? They go crazy. They watch everything. So it's possible. I remember when I was first doing some sports betting models, fucking after Black Friday, try to get in sports betting, and I was in the APBR forum, the sabermetrics, but for basketball. And like 90% of these guys, they all were like stats experts, but they're like, you can't beat gambling. right? Gambling's a tax for stupid people. That type. They all had that mentality. They wouldn't even touch it. They wouldn't even look at it. So like when people would ask occasionally, like a DFS question or a gambling question, and they just like would blow them off. And it's like, these guys, you dummies, you could be printing money with the knowledge you guys have. It's just, some people aren't into it. Some people don't know. There's a lot of people who are capable of it. They just.
Well, where do you think does DFS have, like, the evolution of the game of DFS? Does it have enough forward momentum to continually be bringing in more people who might be intrigued, or has DFS peaked in the amount of people that are, willing to ape in at this point, just lower and lower?
I think I'm more scared about the lack of competition amongst the sites in the regulation.
Yeah.
And just DK dominating, and then FanDuel goes under, just stops doing their DFS product. Like I could totally see them doing that. Like, seems like they don't give a shit, right? And then now we're down to like 2. And like Super Draft's not like, I was hoping Super Draft would totally take over fantasy drafts player base, but they didn't. It didn't like carry over somehow, so they're not as big.
What I don't understand, and again, this is very much coming from being in our little bubble. I know we all know so many DFS content providers, so much of that. Same with Best Ball now. Everyone's doing it. And then there's a site like DraftKings where DFS and Best Ball like are just a drop in the bucket to them, where it's like, where are these giant communities of DK sports bettors like hanging out? Where are they getting their information? Who's talking about the DK lines? Where are the influencers? Like, maybe I'm just in this bubble, but it just seems almost disproportionate relative to these smaller subsections of their business.
I don't know. I mean, we're definitely in a bubble, right? Like, just like player knowledge, like you'll get ripped on for saying a player's name. I'll get ripped on for saying player's name. It's like, you people in the chat and watching the show or listening to the show, it's like, you know more about sports than 99.9% of the fucking population. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's definitely a bubble. The sports betting content is just, I think that's what you were referencing, right? Like,
well, I'm just saying, like, it seems, like the influencers and content would ultimately drive the specific types of ways people want to gamble. And I'm just wondering, like, where are all these big sports betting outfits driving so much activity that DraftKings doesn't even have to care about DFS and Best Ball?
I mean, you mean FanDuel?
Or both draft? I'm just saying, I guess what I'm trying to say is
DK still shares, don't they?
But I just thought you said they're at risk of eventually just closing it up one day because they're making so much money elsewhere.
Well, no, lack of competition. So let's say FanDuel, SuperDraft, and Yahoo stop servicing DFS. So why not charge 20% rate?
Oh, I see what you're saying. So they would continue, but just at an insane monopoly rate.
Yeah, if they go 20%, it's over. Because everyone else will, even if you can beat 20, everyone else can't. They're going to go broke faster. The worst players will go broke faster. You won't be able to win.
But then you got to assume DraftKings, you would hope, would be smart enough to try to.
Is PokerStars smart enough? I mean, like.
But then it goes back.
Argument back then.
But then it goes back to my original point, which is, how are they? Where is all this sports betting new juice coming in from if they're in such a position to be able to ignore or neglect DFS, kill DFS with a huge rake thing? Clearly, then they don't have to care about that revenue stream, is what I'm saying.
Well, they can still rake in money at 20%, and just the game's just not beatable.
Yeah.
And just like the sports betting product's not beatable, because they'll limit you or ban you.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean sports betting is going to go away. It'll just go away for us.
Right. Okay. So what you're saying is the ecosystem, it would shove out all of like the kind of like mid to high tier sharks, because it would be too much rake to beat on a consistent basis.
Yeah. Right. And also you'll need some huge roll to withstand the the variance too, because it'd be, even if you're the best or one of the best or something like that.
Yeah.
It would be a disaster. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but if there was competition, they couldn't do that.
Right.
Because, somebody else will just go lower. Somebody else will just provide a better product. Like, let's say that doesn't happen. Let's say they don't go crazy rake. How long do we have? Like, I don't know. Who knows how it shakes out? I like sports betting better than poker ecosystem. A lot of people are sports, but like America's just starting with sports betting.
But it also, to fully take advantage of that expanding ecosystem, we're gonna need more peer-to-peer sports betting type games.
Probably. Yeah. People like are also clamoring for a Betfair exchange, like a sports betting exchange where players place the bets, so it's peer-to-peer. And like from what I've experienced and read, like that's not necessarily the greatest thing, because it's kind of like just like sharks posting head-to-heads in poker or in DFS. Like they're just posting the best lines, and all the the noobs are taking their action.
Yeah,
I don't think it's like a solution. Sports betting GPPs, though, that would be cool.
That's what, like, kind of what the DK sports betting competition or whatever it was called, like that actually got the juices flowing. That looked really fun.
Right.
Yeah, so that'll be interesting. All right, we're gonna wrap things up here. Look at that. You got Brian's 2 DFS tips, even if they were relatively ambiguous. He's here to teach you how to fish.
I look forward to seeing those tips next week's Blender, the Theory of DFS podcast.
Exactly. All right, subscribe to the channels if you haven't. Speaking of the Sims, like I mentioned down below, Run the Sims is going to have those for all the Showdown contests, main slate, including the second half Showdown stuff. You can still get $50 off using promo code Pete on the Bankroll Tracker and the NFL Season Pass bundle. That deal is going away September 1st. So if you want to lock that in, that link is down below. We can be on the bleeding edge with our horse racing Sims. All right. For Brian, I'm Peter. We'll see you guys next week.